about the Holocaust and the United Nations.
On the 1st of November 2005, the United Nations adopted Resolution 60/7 and declared that they would designate the 27th of January, the anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp, as an annual international day of commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust, and urged member states to develop educational programs to instill the memory of the tragedy in future generations to prevent genocide from occurring again. The Holocaust was a turning point in history, which prompted the world to say, never again. The significance of Resolution 60/7 is that it calls for a remembrance of past crimes with an eye towards preventing them in the future. The General Assembly, reaffirming
the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which proclaims that everyone is entitled to all of the rights and freedoms set forth therein, without distinction of any kind, such as race, religion, or other status.
Recalling
the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, which was adopted in order to avoid repetition of genocides such as those committed by the Nazi regime.
Recalling also
the preamble of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states that disregard and contempt for human rights have resulted in barbarous acts which have outraged the conscience of mankind.
Honoring
the courage and dedication shown by the soldiers who liberated the concentration camps.
Reaffirming
that the Holocaust, which resulted in the murder of 1/3 of the Jewish people, along with countless members of other minorities, will forever be a warning to all people of the dangers of hatred, bigotry, racism, and prejudice.
Resolves
that the United Nations will designate the 27th of January as an annual international day of commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust.
Rejects
any denial of the Holocaust as a historical event, both either in full or part.
Commends
those states which have actively engaged in preserving those sites that served as Nazi death camps, concentration camps, forced labor camps, and prisons during the Holocaust.
Condemns without reserve
all manifestation of religious intolerance, incitement, harassment, or violence against persons or communities based on ethnic origin or religious beliefs, wherever they occur.
Good evening, Secretary for Home Affairs for the Hong Kong SAR, Mr. Lau Kong-Wah, Consuls General, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Annie Kang, and I'm a student at Li Po Chun United World College of Hong Kong.
My name is Madeline Duper-Rizal. I am a pupil at Harrow International School, and we are your hosts this evening.
We welcome you here this evening to commemorate United Nations Holocaust Remembrance Day, marking the 71st anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau.
We are so honored to have Mr. Dov Landau from Israel with us this evening to share his personal experiences of the Holocaust.
The theme of this year's commemoration ceremony is human dignity, which gives us much to think about. What does human dignity mean, and why is it so important? Human dignity is defined as an individual or group's sense of self-respect and self-worth, physical and psychological integrity and empowerment. During the Holocaust, the Nazis tried to strip their victims of all humanity and deprive them of dignity. We have to remember that their victims were regular people, just like all of us sitting in this room tonight. Despite their attempts, there are incredible stories of people preserving their dignity and the dignity of others during the dark times of the Holocaust.
Let us take a moment to appreciate our freedoms and liberties, but also our dignity. We are gifted with the ability to express ourselves, to adorn ourselves, and to be treated with respect. Now, please let us welcome Martin Chung and Hassan Salim to the stage.
Each One Alive by Fred Rothschild. Each one precious, full of promise, filled with hope. Each one a life, a cherished son, a caring daughter, a loving spouse. Each one a life, starved on the streets, shot in the fields, lost to the camps. Each one a life. Each one precious, full of promise, filled with tears. Each one a life. Each million lost. Every one times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10, times 10. Each one a life.
一人一生命，每一顆都寶貴，前途無限，充滿希望。一人一生命，一名愛兒，一名孝女，摯愛伴侶，一人一生命。餓死於街頭，在曠野被射殺，消失於營中。一人一生命，每一顆都寶貴，前途無限。熱淚滿腔，一人一生命，百萬生靈塗炭，每一個人承受，承受，再承受，一人一生命。
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echsar. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Gam ki elech b'gates ha'mavet lo irara ki ata imadi. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Ach tov v'chesed yudafuni kol yemei chayai. V'shafti b'veit Adonai l'orech yamin. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Lipstick for the Dying. This is an extract from the diary of Lieutenant Colonel Mervyn Gonnan, DSO, who was amongst the first British soldiers to liberate Bergen-Belsen in 1945. I can give no adequate description of the horror camp in which my men and myself were to spend the next month of our lives. It was just a barren wilderness, as bare as a chicken run. Corpses lay everywhere, some in huge piles, sometimes they lay singly or in pairs where they'd fallen. It took a little time to get used to seeing men, women and children just collapse as you walk by, and to restrain oneself from going to help them. There was nothing we could do. One had to get used early to the idea that the individual just didn't count. One knew that 500 a day were dying and that 500 a day were going to die for weeks on end before anything we could do would have the slightest effect. It was, however, not easy to watch a child choking to death from diphtheria when one knew that a tracheotomy and nursing would save it. One saw women drowning in their own vomit because they were too weak to turn over, and men eating worms as they clutched a half loaf of bread because they had had to eat worms to live, and now they could scarcely tell the difference. Piles of corpses, naked and obscene, with a woman too weak to stand, propping herself against them as she cooked food over an open fire, food we had given her. Men and women just crouching down anywhere in the open, relieving themselves of the dysentery that was scouring their bowels. A woman standing stark naked, washing herself with some soap we'd issued, in water from a tank in which the remains of a dead child still floated. It was shortly after the British Red Cross arrived, though, it may have no connection, that a very large quantity of lipstick arrived. This was not at all what we men wanted. We were screaming for hundreds and thousands of other things, and I don't know who asked for lipstick. I wish so much I could discover who did it. It was the action of genius, sheer unadulterated brilliance. I believe nothing did more for the morale of these internees than the lipstick. Women lay in bed with no sheets, no clothing, but with scarlet red lips. You saw them wandering around with nothing but a blanket over their shoulder, but with scarlet red lips. I saw a woman dead on the post-mortem table, and clutched in her hand was a piece of lipstick. At last, someone had done something to make them individuals. They were no longer just a number tattooed on the arm. At last, they could take an interest in their appearance. That lipstick started to give them back their humanity.
Please welcome Consul General of the Republic of Poland, Mr. Miroslav Adamczyk, to the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm deeply honored not only to take part in this exceptional memorial, but have this unique opportunity and privilege to introduce our very special guest speaker here tonight. The person who was born in a faraway country, Poland, a country that I'm also coming from, and which I represent here in Hong Kong. Dov Landau was born as the oldest of 4 brothers to an Orthodox Jewish family in a small town called Brzesko in southern Poland. It was 10th of August 1928. And 13 years later, just right after his bar mitzvah. The synagogues in his town were set ablaze, and all males aged 13 and older were forced to do some hard labor for the Nazi war effort. Around the same time, about 1,000 people, including his mother and 3 brothers, were rounded up and transported to an unknown destination and were never to be heard from again. 1 year later, all the Jews in his town were ordered to move to a designated ghetto area. Dov and some of his family members managed to escape to another small town in this region called Bochnia, where they worked in a tailor shop and eventually ended up in the ghetto there. In 1943, he was transferred to the labor camp in Siepnie, when he was made to work as a cobbler before being transferred to Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camp along with his mother. His father was later killed in a gas chamber in Birkenau. In Birkenau, Dov worked as a slave labor in the road construction and then coal mining, facing unbearable conditions. In January 1945, Dov was forced to take part in the infamous Death March, going without food or water for 4 days. At this point, he was sent to Gross-Rosen and Buchenwald concentration camps. When the American troops liberated Buchenwald in April 1945, he was just 17 years old. After the Second World War, Dov went to what would become the State of Israel and finished high school and then fought in the Israeli War of Independence. During his service in the army, he was captured and sent to a prison in Jordan for another 11 months. At the end of that war, he went back to Israel, married, and had a large family. Dov is a real-life figure of Dov Landau, the character in the book, which was the best-selling 1960 novel entitled Exodus, as well as in the epic movie, which was based on that novel. We are truly privileged to have Dov with us in Hong Kong tonight. Auschwitz survivor, and we feel so moved because he will give us his emotional testimony, speaking about his incredible personal story of Holocaust. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a very special welcome to our guest, 88 years young, Dov Landau.
So I say to you all, Shalom, first of all. I'm very happy to be with you and to share the memory day of 71 years ago, where I've been survived in the concentration camp of Buchenwald. After 5 years, since I've been 11 years old, when the German came into my town in Brzesko, Bochnia, in all the area, Krakow, Tarnów. So you can imagine a boy like me, I went through all the 5 years, the Holocaust. Together with my father, my mom, we have been 4 brothers at home. I was the oldest one. And all of a sudden, when the German came one year, 1942, to the town of JUCEA, they took out about 1,000 people. 1,000 people, the first action, together with my mom and my one brother, the other brother, he was younger from me about 2 years. So they took him, about 1,000 people, all of them to the concentration camp in Auschwitz. Nobody came back from this camp, As you know, that 600 people have been killed from all the towns in Galicia during the year of 1942 until 43. So it took about more than 2 months, 3 months, after this action. We have been taken, they took the other 4,000 people to the ghetto, and I've been in ghetto about 2 months. Later I went out with my father, with my grandma and grandpa. We ran away from there to Bosnia. So we came to Bosnia after we went out from JUCEA, and all of a sudden again, the day of Rosh Hashanah, all the 4,000 other people have been taken also to the concentration camp in Auschwitz. Now you can imagine that a town that was counting 5,000 Jewish people, all of them have been murdered and burned in the concentration camp in Auschwitz. But I've been lucky. I ran away before, and I have been living in another year in the ghetto Bosnia. It happened the same. After a year, 1943, they decided to make 3 of the Jewish people in Bosnia the same. So, and I've been lucky again. And the SS, they took me to the right-hand side, and the other people have been taken to the left-hand side. So me and my father, they took me to the work, to another camp, Szczebnia, also in Poland. And I've been located in Szczebnia about after 3 months. I've been working over there, repairing shoes for the German soldiers. Later, when I have been seeing that it's impossible to stay over there, so we have been 6,500 people over there in this camp. In the 5th of November, this camp has been liquidated at all from the Jewish people, and 2,000 from us have been taken to the trees, to floors, and have been murdered, burned and shooted. And the other 4,500 people from this camp, they've been brought to Auschwitz, Birkenau Auschwitz. Now you can imagine, it's about after two ghettos and 2 camps, I came to Auschwitz. I've been 15 years old only, together with my father only. I haven't got any more, no brothers, no mom, no grandpa, nothing. Everybody has been gone in all kinds of circumstances. My whole family, they count about close to 40 people, from my mom's side, from my father's side, and I haven't survived only one, Today is 71 years, I share with you the memory day. I've been only 17 years old when I went through the 5 camps and 2 ghettos. And I am very happy, and I tell you the truth, to see you here, the first time in Hong Kong, and I'm able to talk about it, what happened 75 years ago. So this makes me a good feeling, a good feeling. because there's not a lot of people like me that they can be that left to be a witness, you know, and they can talk to you in English, you know, what men like me passed, you know, when I've been 15 years old. When I came to Birkenau Auschwitz from the second camp, Shebnia, so one of the worst guys, a son of a gun, you know, Mengele, he kept our transport in Auschwitz in the 5th of November 1943, Mengele. So we have been selected, right and left, and I've been again lucky, you know, they took me to the right-hand side together with my father. I came into Birkenau Auschwitz, they took my old clothes down, I went to the shower, disinfection, and then I was supposed to have, you know, to tell him, you know, what kind of a profession you have, if you are sick or not. So I say, I have no profession, I was only, you know, a school teacher, I didn't finish even the school, you know, I'm 15 years old. So they gave me a number on my arm, 160, here I can show you the number on my arm. 161,400, I've got this number by Mengele in Auschwitz-Birkenau. So we've been located together with about only 952 people like me, and the 369 women and girls, you know. The other 2,884 have been brought right to the crematorium and murdered with the gas camera. This is what I've seen in my eyes at that time when I've been only 15 years old. And later, you know, we went in to the barracks, you know, number 10, 11. About 3-4 weeks, you know, they asked to volunteers, 200 people, you know, to another camp behind Auschwitz-Birkenau. I say to my father, listen, let's go out from this barrack. It's impossible to live here, to be built and heated every day, you know, and to get, you know, only 250 grams of bread with a piece of cheese and a cup of tea or coffee, and 1 liter of soup, you know. It was awful to eat it, you know. Everybody has got dysentery from this soup, what we have got over there in that time, you know, in Auschwitz. So we went out to another camp, 200 people, where Jewiszewicz. It's about 13 kilometers from Birkenau Auschwitz. I came to this camp together with 200 other friends. We came in, so we met about a camp, you know, from 2,000 Jewish people. What are you doing here? They say, you will be our help, you will be able to help us to work in the coal mines, Jewiszewicz. So what can I do? I've been working in the coal mines, 350 meters under the earth. Every day we have been walking from the camp to the elevators to go down to the coal mines. I was helping for a Polish coal miner, and he was very, very helping me because he wanted me to help him to get out what more this coal from the coal mines. And he said for his wife, listen, Marisho, please, if you make a sandwich for me in the morning, so make another one for the guy, you know, that he works with me, a young boy, 16 years old. So makes me happy to get from the Polish guy, you know, what I've been working with him together. He treated me, he brought me every day, you know, this sandwich with the schmaltz, with a piece of meat or sausage. And this gives me more strength to be able to work with him. My father couldn't do it. He was only 40 years old, but he was a high 1.85 meters, and he couldn't work under the earth, you know, 350 meters. So he's got sick hospital after 4 months. I say, my father, if you go to the hospital, they will take you back to Birkenau Auschwitz, and I will not be able to see you anymore. he says, I have no other choice. My legs are swollen. He used to work, every day 2 kilometers from the camp to the elevators and to go down and to work over there night shift. I was at the day shift. He went to the hospital. After 4 weeks, they took out about 200 sick people and they brought them back to Birkenau, Auschwitz. I was ready to go with him together. I said, Father, probably what we will be together again. But the local tester, under the name of Fritz, I remember, he told me, listen, you stay here. Your father is going now to the sanatorium in Birkenau, Auschwitz, when he will be very healthy more. So he will come back and you will start to work together again. He said to me, he's going to go to the sanatorium. So I told him, wahrscheinlich in the crematorium. But this was the end. I have never seen him anymore. But he went down from the car. He wanted to bless me. He said to me, listen, Dov, I have a feeling that you will survive this mess here. And we are going to split each other. I don't know if you will be able to see again each other. I don't know what will be with me. I want to bless you, that you should be able to stay a Jew like you have been behaved, like you have been educated at home. So he went, and I have never seen him again. I was looking after him after the war, but I couldn't find him. I found some lists, some documents in the International Tracing Company in Germany that he has been well after a month, and he has been sent, to a German company, Räderstraßenbau company. He was working another 6 months by Straßenbau. You know what's Straßenbau? I found the list, every day he has got 1 mark for the loan of the work. He signed Benjamin Landau. I found the documents over there in Arlesson. So that means that he was another 6 months alive. I was looking after that in all the other places in Germany. I couldn't find it. Okay, I continued to work until the January 17, 1945, another year. If you know that before the Russian came in to occupy the old area from Auschwitz, Birkenau, and the other summer camps, about 39 summer camps around Auschwitz, they took all the prisoners, the Jewish people, they sent them out on the Dead March. So me too, together with the 2,000 people in my camp. I went on the 17th January 1945 on the Dead March, 4 days and 3 nighs, without sleeping, without eating, without drinking, nothing. I was wearing only my clothes, what you have seen in the pictures, with the white cotton clothes, with the blue stripes. It was 8 degrees, 8 minus was. We have been going like dogs, with the SS in both sides. It's unbelievable. I don't know exactly how I can describe you what it was in that 4 days, and 3 nights. I went through 62 kilometers. Half of our people, that we have been going on the Dead March, 4,500 people, we arrived only 2,224 alive into Buchenwald after 4 days. The other part, of the people, they have been killed on the way, and they have been frozen, or they died from the hunger. So I still arrived to Buchenwald alive. I've been already 16 and a half years old. 16 and a half years old. But I've been, thanks God that I've been treated by the Polish boy, he was about 35 years old, double than me. But he wanted to have help that he could get out, the contingents of the coal mines, what the Germans, forced all the the Polish people, to get out from this coal mine. So I was helping, and he helped me too. That's why I've been lucky to arrive alive to Buchenwald at that time. Now, exactly this month, 22nd of January, 71 years ago, I arrived together with the 2,284 people to Buchenwald. And now I share with you the Memory Day. I don't know if there's another one like me. After 71 years, he is able to stay with you and to explain everything what happened with me at that time when I've been only 16 and a half years. Over there, I've been registered again, like in Buchenwald, like in Birkenau, Auschwitz. I have all the documents, how they start to keep us in this camp in Buchenwald. We have been over there about 45,000 people at that time when I came in, from all over the countries in Europe. So I've been working another 4 months in the Steinbruch. After that, the 11th of April, the American troops, they occupied Germany, and in our camp, Buchenwald has also been occupied by the American troops. Half of these people from the Buchenwald camp have been also kicked around, on the Dead March. We have been left only 22,000 people in this camp when 11th of April 1945, and me too. So I've been again lucky, after 2 ghettos, 5 camps, and the Dead March. What can I tell you? It was something for me that I survived. Something. The American troops have seen the 300 kids in one block, poor people, without clothes, without nothing, without the toilet, without the shower. We have been sleeping in our clothes, day and night, working and sleeping in the same, If you want to see the picture, I will show you the picture what I have how it was in my block later. Okay, after about month 2, the American soldiers, Rabbi Herschel Schachter, one of the chaplains from the American troops, that took the 300 kids, and we have been located in the other buildings from the SS, what have been left out of the camp. So over there we have got better comfortable, a bit more comfortable for us. We have been, in the bed, in a shower, and a kitchen, and toilets, everything. I was running all the time to bring some food for the other kids. I've been weighing only 35, 40 kilos. I weigh already 48 kilos at that time. But I've been strong. I could help for the other kids. Other boys, they've been my age. A lot of them, they couldn't, this food what I brought, they couldn't eat it, because the body was only 35, 40 kilos. So they died also of typhus, dysentery. So thanks God I could make it. And I've been later, brought with the other people, to a sanatorium in French, Equi. In this place we have been a little bit treated, healthy treatment. We have got more to eat, and new clothes. And about 1 month later, the Rabbi Herschel Schachter, he arranged that we have been able to be transferred to Israel. So on the 14th of July 1945, I arrived to Israel, and I was starting to to finish my school over there, what I lost in the Holocaust. After this 2 years when I finished my school, I found a girlfriend and I got married. I built up a new family, and I wish you the same. If you people here that are not still married, that they should be lucky like me and to build up a family, a big family like I did it, after this Holocaust, Thank you very much.
I will never hear the sound of their voices. I will never see the smiles on their faces. They were my family, my grandparents, my aunties, my uncle, my cousin, young and old. All innocent creatures of God, living in peace. The Nazis murdered them all, only because they were Jews. They were not given a decent grave, but their memory will never be lost. This sorrow will hold all my life. Let God have their soul. We will now light candles to remember the 6 million Jews and all others murdered by the Nazis. Please welcome the Consul General of the State of Israel, Mr. Saji Kani, to the stage to light the first candle.
This candle represents the Jewish victims. We remember more than 6 million people who were murdered simply because they committed the crime of being Jewish. Unfortunately, 71 years after the Holocaust, we cannot claim that the disease of anti-Semitism was eradicated. In the last year, we witnessed a rise of anti-Semitism in several countries, an ugly, and as we know also, a deadly phenomenon that led last year to be a record year of Jewish immigration to Israel from Western democracies. Even here in Hong Kong, traditionally anti-Semitism free, we dealt in the last 2 weeks with an attempt to import anti-Semitic incitement into Hong Kong. The State of Israel will not sit idle, but it is the responsibility of all governments and societies to remain vigilant, remember the past, and take necessary measures not to let the beast raise its head again.
This candle represents the gay victims of the Nazis. We remember these men and women who were treated with extreme cruelty simply because of their sexual orientation.
This candle represents disabled victims of Nazism. We remember these people who were the first victims to be murdered and massed the Nazis because they didn't fit into the Aryan ideal of physical and mental perfection.
this candle represents the Roma gypsy community. These people were slaughtered simply because of their ethnicity. The Nazis regarded them as life unfit for life.
This candle represents Hitler's and the Nazis' political opponents who were murdered simply because they opposed Nazi ideology.
This candle represents the idols among the nations. We remember more than 25,000 brave non-Jewish people who stood up against Nazi operation and saved Jewish life during the Holocaust.
Please stand for a moment of silence to remember all the victims of the Holocaust and subsequent genocides.
I will now recite a memorial prayer for all the victims of the Holocaust. Yizkor Elohim et nishmot acheinu chalelei HaShoah v'giboreha nishmot rivevot alfei anashim shehumtu v'shenergu v'shenechneku v'shenekberu chayim. Yizkor Elohim et hakedatam im hakedat shahar kedoshei ameinu v'giborav mimei olam v'yitzrar b'yitzrar hachayim et nishmatam הנאבים והנעימים בחייהם ובמותם לא נפרדו ינוחו בשלום המשכבותם ונאמר אמן.
Service concludes with the recital of El Malei Rachamim, which I'll read in English, followed by the recital in Hebrew. Almighty God, full of mercy, who dwells in the celestial heights, we beseech you to provide a full rest upon the wings of the divine presence, alongside the holy and the pure, whose shine is akin to the bright skies, for all the souls of the 6 million Jews, victims of the European Holocaust, who were murdered, slaughtered, burnt and exterminated by the Nazi assassins and their collaborators from other nations for the mere reason of being Jewish, and thus their death sanctified the name of Almighty God. Therefore may the Master of Mercy protect them forever,
in the intimacy of his wings. And may he bond their souls in the ultimate bond of life. For it is God who is their eternal heritage. May the Garden of Eden be their resting place, and may they rest peacefully until the time comes when they will be resurrected and rise once again in the end of days. And let us say Amen. El Malei Rachamim Shochein Bameromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Hava lekanefei Hashechina B'ma'alo Kedoshim U'Teharim Kizor Rakia Mazihirim Et Kol HaNeshamot Shel Sheshet Milyonei HaYehudim Chalelei HaShoah B'Europa Shenehרגו, שנשחטו, שנשרפו ושנספו על קידוש השם בידי המרצחים הנאצים ויועזריהם לכם ולרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותיהם אדוני ונחלתם בגן עדן תהיה מנוחתם ויעמדו לגורלם לקץ הימין ונאמר
This evening, we have heard a first-hand account of the Holocaust. And while stories of human suffering can be very difficult to hear, we must ask ourselves what lessons we can take from these stories. We are inspired by people like Mr. Landau, their bravery and the strength of the human spirit. It is quite amazing what people can go through, but still retain their humanity and their dignity. Most importantly, however, these stories remind us to always stand up for the rights of others, to fight all kinds of prejudice, and to never forget the depths to which